Let's move on towards our next paragraph of discussion from Clayden book. So some simple compounds are made both from oil and from plants. What does it mean by this oil? Oil means crude oil, okay? And plant means essential oil from plants. The products which we obtain from plants. And oil means crude oil. So some simple compounds are made both from oil and from plants, okay? The ethanol used as a starting material to make other compounds in industry is largely made by catalytic hydration of ethylene from oil. So what it is saying is that ethanol CH3 CH2 CH3 CH2OH is what? CH3 CH2OH is ethanol. Okay. So this ethanol is used as a starting material to make many other compounds. And how is this ethanol produced? Ethanol is produced with the help of ethene or ethylene gas. And ethylene gas, when it is reacted with water, that is when its hydration is undergone, it releases ethanol. Okay. So this ethylene gas, that is ethene gas, we get from where? We get from crude oil. This gas we get from crude oil. Okay. So it is saying that the ethanol used as a starting material to make other compounds in industry is largely made by catalytic hydration of ethylene from oil. Okay. But ethanol is also used as a fuel. Ethanol is also used as a fuel. For example, in Brazil, ethanol is used as a fuel, and it is obtained from the fermentation of sugarcane. And sugarcane looks something like this. Sugarcane looks something like this. This is how sugarcane looks like. In Hindi, what is sugarcane called in Hindi? In Hindi, sugarcane is called as ganna. Okay, in Hindi, sugarcane is called as ganna. Okay, so in Brazil, ethanol is used as a fuel, and it is made by fermentation of sugarcane. So when we ferment the sugarcane, ethanol is produced. And in one, how it is produced in industry? In industry, ethanol is produced by catalytic hydration of ethylene, and that ethylene is obtained from crude oil. And ethanol is the starting material to make other important compounds, many other important compounds. So ethanol is starting material to make many other compounds. Okay. So ethanol is also used as a fuel. For example, the fuel for cars, trains, okay, not planes, but cars, taxis, and all these things. So ethanol is used as a fuel, and it is considered as a greener fuel, comparatively greener fuel. Okay. Plants are extremely powerful organic chemical factories. So plants are extremely powerful organic chemical factories because in plants various reactions take place. For example, photosynthesis takes place in plants. So how does photosynthesis take place in plants? With the help of CO2 and water in the presence of ultraviolet rays, that is solar rays. So CO2 and H2 are converted into glucose, okay, which is needed by the plants. So plants are extremely powerful organic chemical factories. And sugarcane is one of the most efficient organic chemical factory. Okay, sugarcane is among the most efficient organic chemical factory out of them. Sugarcane is amongst the most efficient. Photosynthesis extracts carbon dioxide directly from the air and uses solar energy to reduce it to form less oxygen rich organic compounds from which energy can be re-extracted by combustion. What does it mean? So photosynthesis extracts CO2 from the air and it uses solar energy to convert it into glucose first, and then that glucose is converted into cellulose and all other things. Now cellulose, if we consider cellulose is it has less oxygen as compared to carbon dioxide. Cellulose has more carbon, less oxygen and more carbon. Okay, so more will be the carbon, more carbon, less oxygen. So better fuel. Okay, it will be a better fuel. It will be a better fuel means more energy will be released after combustion of such a product. The product in which carbon is more and oxygen is less, in such a product, when we burn that product, and more energy will be released. More energy will be released if carbon is more and oxygen is less. So more energy will be released by combustion. Okay. So the energy which the plants store in them, that is released in the form of combustion. It can be released in the form of combustion when we burn the parts of the plants. When we burn the parts of the plants. Okay. Biodiesel is made in a similar way from fatty acid components of plant oils. So biodiesel, for example, this is an example of biodiesel. Okay, ethyl stearate or ethyl octadecanoate. Ethyl stearate or ethyl octadecanoate. This is a major component of biodiesel. So you can have a look. This is how is the structure, and it is one of the major components of biodiesel. So there are the carbon chain is 18 carbons long. If you count the carbon atoms like this from here up to here, there are total 18 carbons from here till here. Okay, from here till here there are total 18 carbons, and 18 means octadec. Okay, 18 means octadec. So ethyl octadecanoate, and common name is ethyl stearate. Okay, ethyl for this group, ethyl for this group, and it is a major component of biodiesel. Now, biodiesel, how do we obtain biodiesel? Biodiesel are made in a similar way from fatty acid components of plant oils. So, plant oils are essential oils of plants. Okay, what are plant oils? There are essential oils in plants. Okay, and those essential oils can be extracted from the plant by the process of distillation or some other process as well, acid extraction or distillation. Okay, so when fatty acid, what does it mean by fatty acid? When the chain of carbon atom is very long, when the chain of carbon atom is very long, the carboxylic acid is called as fatty acid. Okay, so long chain carboxylic acid are called as fatty acid. What are fatty acid? Fatty acids are long chain carboxylic acids. Okay, so when we obtain fatty acid from plant oils, when we make chemical reactions to undergo, when chemical reaction are undergone on fatty acids which are obtained from plant oils, and when chemical reaction is undergone on those fatty acids, biodiesel is obtained. And what are fatty acids? Fatty acids are long chain carboxylic acids. Okay, so simplest carboxylic acid is formic acid. Okay, then second simplest carboxylic acid is acetic acid. Okay, now if we increase the length of carbon chain, for example here the carbon chain length is 1 carbon, over here the carbon chain length is 2 carbons. Okay, so if we increase the carbon chain length in carboxylic acid such that the length becomes greater than 8, okay, the number of carbon atoms becomes greater than 8, okay, then we call it fatty acid. Okay, the carboxylic acid will be called as fatty acid when the length of carbon chain exceeds 8, okay, so this is the thing. So biodiesel is made in a similar way from fatty acid components of plant oils. Okay, and how does sugar cane look like? I have already told you sugar cane looks something like this. Thank you very much.